Hey guys, you're watching TechEdit. I'm Basil and this is the Nothing Phone 2A Plus, a slightly refreshed take on the much loved 2A. This time around you've got an upgraded selfie camera up to 50 megapixels, improved chipset from MediaTek, slightly faster charging, just 5 watts faster, and you also have some improved UI elements like a newsreader that uses AI to give you a daily summary of your news. Most important for me is the style. This PS1 vibe look is really working for me. Transparent with Glyph Lights, this grey version. You can also pick it up in black. I do prefer it over the original, maybe not the special edition Nothing Phone, but you can't get that anymore. So this is my favorite looking Nothing Phone 2A. I'll dive into my impressions of this after a couple of days in much more detail in a second, but before I do, a quick shout out to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. I travel a lot with work, so being able to access my information securely is really important, and specifically now I'm in China and I really struggled with my pre-existing VPN, like the biggest VPN brand in the world, to get online, but Surfshark helped me out. They're actually sponsoring this video, and as soon as my account was activated and I installed the app, I was able to get online securely with no issues. And what's nice about the Surfshark app is that it gives you updates and keeps you informed as to what the VPN is doing. So while I'm in China, it tells me that there are limited servers because I'm in a restricted space. My China trip's just one example, but if you want private secure browsing wherever you are, check out Surfshark. If you use the code TechEdit, you'll also get an extra 4 months on a 12 or 24-month plan. Back to the Nothing Phone 2A, and you may be wondering, why does this phone even exist? Nothing's already released different looking special editions, so why didn't they just do the same with a grey version? Well, there may be a couple of reasons. One could be the chipset. On paper, it looked like the CMF Phone 1 had a more powerful chipset than the Phone 2A based on how MediaTek names its chips. Now, that isn't the case with this. The CMF Phone 1 didn't have a more powerful chip, the Phone 2A did, but still. Now it's very clear on paper and in real life that the Phone 2A Plus is the daddy of all three phones. On top of that, OnePlus has just announced the excellent Nord 4, and I'm guessing Nothing releasing this may be trying to knock a bit of wind out of OnePlus' sales, because this undercuts it by £29, and while it doesn't compete on the spec front in every respect, it does give you a better ultra-wide camera, selfie camera, and as far as I'm concerned, more edgy design. In addition, any Nothing Phone fan looking to game on a budget, you'll get better performance out of this than the OG Nothing Phone 2A. So let's dive into what makes the Nothing Phone 2A Plus tick. Starting with the cameras, and like I said, there are 3 50 megapixel sensors here. The primary camera is a Samsung GN9 sensor. That's 1/1.57 inches, so it's big for the price, and you also get an f1.9 aperture lens with OIS, so the specs read well. That's identical to the Phone 2A, and I like the Phone 2A's camera, so that's promising for this too. And it outspecs, based on the sensor size, the OnePlus Nord 4. Though the Litia 600 sensor is a newer gen sensor. Onto the ultra wide, and that's a Samsung sensor as well, a 50 megapixel JN1 sensor, 1/2.76 inches, and a less wide f2.2 aperture. Interestingly, the front camera also gets a Samsung JN1 sensor that hopefully translates to consistency with photos, and it can record 4K video from the front at up to 30 frames per second, 1080p up to 60 frames per second. So again, video and stills consistency across both sides. As far as the upgrade to the chipset goes, the Nothing Phone 2A had a Dimensity 7200 Pro. The Nothing Phone 2A Plus has a 7350 Pro, and the improvements are moderate when it comes to benchmarks. Starting with a 3D Mark stress test with Wildlife Extreme, the 2A peaked at around 1150, and that's also around where it bottomed out. Relatively consistent performance, whereas the 2A Plus got a couple of hundred more than that. 1365 to 75 stays between that realm. By comparison, the OnePlus Nord 4 capped out at around 3,000 and bottomed out at around 1,650. So there's more variance there, but even the lowest OnePlus Nord Wildlife Extreme Stress Test score was higher than the highest Nothing Phone 2a Plus score. So for gamers looking for the best gaming phone on a budget, the Poco F6 and Nord 4 are better options, but for Nothing Phone fans, the 2a Plus is the best option for the price. Something I've always loved about Nothing phones is the fact Nothing uses a flexible OLED display. And the reason they do that is you have a consistent border around all sides. And that's something not even the Nord 4 has, though the Nord 4 does have slimmer bezels. The Phone 2a Plus's screen is 6.7 inches and has a refresh rate that climbs from 30 to 120 Hz, with that AOD resting at 30 Hz. With a 1300 nit peak brightness for HDR content, 1100 nit peak brightness in high brightness mode across the whole screen, and roughly 700 nit peak manual brightness, it's definitely bright enough for comfortable use. That's identical to the Nothing Phone 2a screen, and for the price it's still really competitive and looks great out and about in real world use. The Nothing Phone 2a Plus also has a 5000 mAh battery like the 2a, but this time 5 watt faster charging puts this at 50 watts versus 45 watts on the 2a. And it supports power delivery, which is excellent. So it's a standardized charging system, should work with most of your fast chargers that aren't proprietary from other phone brands. What's also excellent about both this and the original 2a is Nothing's commitment to the environment, with a lot of materials, including the aluminium frame, recycled, 100% recycled aluminium, and other components as well. So that is a very, very cool thing. Nothing's also included a new newsreader widget for the Phone 2a Plus. And what it does, once you've checked your selection of categories, business news, sports news, technology news, for example, it'll use AI to read you news stories that it will curate throughout the day. And it's an AI voice, but it injects some humor in there as well.
Welcome to Nothing News, where we're making something out of, well, nothing. I'm Tim, your CFO and reluctant news anchor. I'm stuck reading the news every day, but hey, at least I'm not bored to nothing.
It can be jarring, pronunciations can suffer.
Sinead O'Connor's official cause of death has been revealed 1 year after her passing.
And also, it just doesn't sound always natural, but that kind of sometimes makes the humor or attempt at humor feel a little bit more deadpan.
Come on, give this one a chance. It's like giving a financial statement a second look. Coming up next, President Biden has proposed significant... You're tough to please, aren't you? The bird flu threat continues to grow, with maybe the next one will be the charm, like hitting our financial targets.
It's not going to sell this phone, and I'm guessing it's going to roll out to past Nothing phones as well. But it's still a neat feature and demonstrates what Nothing's trying to do, creating an ecosystem of widgets and an OS in general that stands out. And indeed, from the dot matrix styling to the smoothness and day-to-day performance, my time with the Phone 2a Plus has been really great. There's also an in-display fingerprint scanner. The frames are matte plastic, but it's a matte plastic that kind of seamlessly melds into the polished plastic back, which has a pillowy curve to it. So you've got a really, really nice feeling phone as well. It doesn't feel as sleek as the OnePlus Nord 4. It definitely is more imposing in the hand, but the flat sides are really, really nice and grippy, and the shape is going to please anyone who likes that symmetry I was talking about, with that even bezel and very considered design. Nothing also promises 3 years of major operating system updates and 4 years of security updates with the 2a Plus, which falls behind OnePlus with the Nord 4, but is competitive with other devices around the price. And if you're not familiar with Nothing as a brand, the Glyph Lights around the back are really their kind of idiosyncratic style standout feature. If you place the phone face down, they'll light up a little bit and it'll tell you the phone's been put on silent, and they'll just flash every time you get a notification. On top of that, you've got a Glyph composer in here, Glyph timer, so that you can see a visual countdown when a timer countdown is ticking, and there's other elements within the UI that take advantage of it. So again, this just goes to bring together quite a holistic attention to detail when it comes to user experience. So if you're on the market for a phone right now and you're looking to spend somewhere between $399 to a Plus price or £429, the Nord 4 price, which should you get? Both of these phones have 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage starting capacity. That's the only version you can pick up the Phone 2a with. So that's neither here nor there. But you may want to pick up the Nord 4 if you like gaming, because like I said, it's more powerful. Its metal frame also feels more sleek. It's slimmer, so it slides in your pocket that bit more easily. The primary camera, the photo processing on the Nord 4 may edge ahead a little bit, but as a camera package, then the Nothing Phone 2a wins out with its triple 50 megapixel camera setup. Nothing's design definitely stands out above the Nord 4, even the mercurial silver version. I think Nothing's got visual identity down, and it's just much cooler, even if it doesn't feel as sleek. The Phone 2a Plus also has Gorilla Glass 5 on the front versus the Panda Glass on the Nord 4, so the 2a Plus is likely a little bit hardier from the front. For me personally, the Nord 4 wins out. Yes, it's £30 more expensive, but the screen, that bigger battery, 5,500 milliamps, faster charging at 100 watts, and more importantly, the gaming performance really is exactly what I'm looking for in a smartphone, even though I do prefer how the Phone 2a Plus looks. But if you are a Nothing fan and you do want the best performance and feature set at under £400, the Phone 2a Plus is definitely an awesome looking bit of kit. Hopefully you enjoyed this 48-hour rundown of my experiences with the Phone 2a Plus. I haven't gone into a crazy amount of detail because my Phone 2a review is very detailed. So check that out. You'll be able to see camera comparisons from the rear camera and a whole load of other stuff. Generally speaking though, they're very similar in terms of user experience. If you have enjoyed the video, please do click that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not already. If you are, make sure that bell is dinged so you can be notified of my upcoming content. And if you have any questions about it, please do let me know. Thanks for watching.